Imagine, if you will, a Transformers toy line of modern day that only had 1 or 2 Bumblebees. A hard-to-grasp concept, is it not?
I've said during Siege I'd rather they didn't do a Bumblebee. Sure, his Cybertronian form was one of the first seen in the original cartoon, so a Cybertron-derived series of toys would be perfect. But there were so many already in other series that it just became too much. Studio Series had 2 in a single wave. I guess they found a loophole. Instead, they still didn't release him as a main retail release, but rather the Netflix-promoted line that's a Walmart-exclusive series. Well, I guess that works. Special thanks to 01 Transfan for sending this. It's kind of funny, with the Earthrise line, they've had to make some subtle changes to the Earth modes to avoid any copyright issues, or at least that's what it seems. That's potentially why some of the numbers changed, like on Smokescreen, but not for Netflix Bumblebee, as he's straight up a Volkswagen Beetle. People were very curious how Transformers got the rights to use the Volkswagen. Why didn't you ask that 2 years before then? I think it's obvious. This version is insanely small, especially for a deluxe, but that has to do with the fact it's actually a Cliffjumper remold. Wow, didn't think I'd say that. Cliff before B? Who saw that coming? And Cliffjumper's the retail one. It's also a very proper shape, not just a chibi form, but if you missed that, may I interest you in the buzzworthy Bumblebee line? Wait, that's how they got away with it. Can't put too many B's in generations? Fine, we'll make our own line. There's no cheating. The entire shell of the car has been reworked to reassemble the Volkswagen to properly add every detail, curve, and shape, even down to the wheels adding the logos. Some paint is left out, but they did paint the rims, taillights, Volkswagen symbol, headlights, windshield wipers, handles, and threw in an Autobot logo. Hey, they even got the single mirror. Is it me, or is there something cheesy about it? The color borders close to an orange, but maybe that's because hubcap is so bright. The Bionicle nerd in me knows what this is. I do like the consistent windows, all transparent with a blue tint. It feels so small, but I love it. You can separate the weapon to recreate the wire ski mode from... Wait, that's Cliffjumper's thing. Or leave it combined and plug... Wait, there's no peg hole. However, there is a trick Hasbro did. Pop off the back, which, yes, it's parts forming. Bring up the arms without breaking anything. Use the peg with the slots, attach it, and this is the ultimate dumbest looking thing. It's like the Stealth Force toys without being anywhere near cool. It's really difficult to complain about the car as a whole, unless you're in desperate need for the chibi car, or think it's outdated for a generation's toy, in which case I think you missed the nostalgia. You'll most likely love this. Robot mode. You know how Bumblebee's been hitting the gym, looking more like a generic Autobot car design that somehow is still popular? Well, this one's not afraid to go back to the lumpy form, and I like it. He has character, not just a sellout. Yeah, it is going back to the Cliffjumper remold, and you can certainly see it here with the legs and arms, as well as the continued desperate need for a symbol on the chest. Yeah, they're small for deluxes, but they're more advanced in engineering to a Legends class figure, and it seems I have a goblin army. No more bumper chest, now he's all round and plump. Sure, technically the windshield should be at the crotch, but at this point it's just nitpicking and also a weird observation. No, instead, the front of the car properly makes his big shoes. Wait. Had he been wearing shoes for his torso? His helmet certainly looks good, pretty rounded and wide with the 2 horns on top. Face is painted along with the eyes, but they're so thin. Seems like that edgy emotion from the show leaked onto him. This joyous Autobot needs to smile more. Did someone say, articulation? Ball jointed head, shoulders out and in, forward to back, rotation below, elbow bend, wrist rotation, waist rotation, hips forward to back, out and in, rotation below, knee bend, and foot tilt. Posability is pretty good. With big feet and tiny arms, he's pretty stable. There is a tab within the neck that you could pop out, but it's so hard. I don't want to break it. Also, they really fixed the shoulders. They used to come out pretty easily, but not with these tabs. They stay in place. A little tricky on the transformation going past the hood, but otherwise, pretty good. Let's Let's take a look at the accessories. The Bee Bazooka, or Bizooka, is just a carryover from Cliffjumper. I don't mind, especially with the painted components. It comes together well, but it doesn't really suit him. I prefer separating this to give him 2 small blasters, and for this, you could plug it on the shoulder and... I don't know. And now, what really sours the mood. This could be removed to be a shield, but it somehow looks worse. It's too obvious. It's just a chunk of a car. Hasbro, I already hate that you're cheating with all this parts forming, but I can forgive it if you do something with it. If this is the best you could do, add a hinge and forget it. There's various blast ports, even at the scale, and portholes under the feet, side of the legs, hands, side of the arms, and without the shield, one on the back. So besides the shoulders, he has the average amount of portholes for a War for Cybertron figure. This may be the only War for Cybertron Bumblebee aside from the core class mold, but comparing it to previous versions, this is the best, maybe competing with classics. I mean, there's this, which is kind of Cybertronian if you want to use it, then Titan's Returns that look like the same transformed into a Scion. There's others, but look at this. This is just morally right. Nice back arch, though. It's so weird that I was so against the War for Cybertron Bumblebee. It's not that I hate him, I just grew tired that he's tainted almost every toy line in Transformers. Now that we got this, and seeing how proper it is, makes me glad we got it. Yeah, it's a Cliffjumper remold, but they didn't just stop there. Not just a head swap recolor, there was a lot of cosmetic work, and I think it paid off. Previous Bumblebees were similar, but it didn't look right. But this is good, and thanks to 01 Transfin for sending this. According to all known laws of aviation, this is the sexiest bee ever.